Hi. Well, we're back. They allowed us back on live, and I'm in Canberra. I've come up in a convoy today. The Rural Rebel is going to talk to me about that. He's very kindly come on quickly to be a part of this. But I'm going to start. I've gone up with Billy today from AUM, and I took this video of Billy today, and this will start.
Together we are mighty. Okay, boys.
And that's where it ends. Hey, Hank, how you going?
Hey, Michael, how are you, mate?
I think that's pretty classy. There's so yeah, he was my driving buddy up there. So we drove up in the Reignite bus, which I'm trying to figure out what I did with it, and the Reignite truck, which is pictures everywhere. Just see, did I put the pictures on?
I think everyone's seen it by now anyway, the RDH.
Yeah. So it's got all those things up there. And so we left yesterday, and today we had Canberra.
And you've made it. Let's start from the start and backtrack a little bit, and maybe talk about how what it was like, starting the convoy at Northcote, and how many you started out with, and what it was like seeing it grow along the way, and seeing people join.
Well, we started with about 10 or 11, 12 cars, probably about 15, but some only came parts of the way and then went back.
Okay.
And so they all had writing on the walls, so you all knew that something was happening, like writing on their windows. So they had that. And then we were just, we had a bit of trouble staying together, and the truck, the Reignite Democracy truck, doesn't like hills, and so it goes down to like 80. And then when we're on the highway, we were going slow, like 80, just to, and most people were incredibly supportive. Bibbing horns, people were giving. One guy came up right next to us and put money through to our window for fuel.
Wow.
There was people on the overpasses waving flags and ready for us to go past, and people on the sides of the roads, and people bibbing horns as they came past. It was really good. And so the first thing was exciting. So we did all the small country towns on the way up, and then we stopped. And then the most amazing thing happened is we got to Wodonga, and we stayed across from this big truck servo. And there's stuff on Instagram, the stuff on the Cafe Locked Out page. You can see it. And I'll post some stuff across to your page if you like.
Yep.
And this was like a camp out of the Steinbeck wrote a famous novel called The Grapes of Wrath, which was about all the California farmers who'd been made homeless by the corporations taking their land and dust storms. And they were itinerant workers now, just driving across America to California looking for work. And they got in this camp, and they were unwanted people.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like. But when I was in this camp, everyone's handing out food to everyone else. Everyone's welcoming everyone. It's so welcoming. Everyone's talking, and no one talks pointless stuff. No one talks about the footy. No one talks about the weather. They all talk about life and politics and science and all this. And it's amazing. It's like this whole new intellectual-driven Australia. I love it. No one.
It refills the soul being around it.
No one talks about footy. No one goes, "She'll be right." No one. And there's just, so it's this whole thing. Anyway, so they're talking, and then more people started to arrive, and the people just kept arriving in all manner of vehicles, from little hatchbacks, worn out hatchbacks, to brand new caravans, like 4-wheel drive, those big 4-wheel drive expensive caravans. And the thing that I noticed the most, and I was telling people about this today, and I actually said it in a speech today in front of the cops, that everywhere is the Australian flag. Everywhere. People have it draped over everything. They're incredibly proud of the Australian flag and the blue flag, not the red flag, the blue flag. And yet they are ostracized by this country, not segregated, because we're all talking about, oh, it's segregation or it's apartheid. It's not apartheid. It's not segregation. It's worse.
Ostracization, yeah.
If you work, if you live in an apartheid system, you go to that way, and then the other people go this way. But you have somewhere to go, but it's a second-class place.
Yeah.
In our system, we have nowhere to go. We are lepers. We have been cut out of society. We are basically the Walking Dead in a way. You know, it means go away and just run out of money. And if you're not going to get the jab, we'll just go away and die. That's really where they are. These are the totally unwanted human beings. Nothing for them. Almost like a new brand of gypsies or something like that. And yet, under all this duress, and they've all lost family and friends and jobs and houses, they are extremely bonded. And there's a new saying that I heard today, which said, last night actually, which I heard, you lose quantity, but you gain quality.
Yep.
And I just find that amazing. So I feel blessed in my choice that I'm still a part of these people through stubbornness, because I'm just not going to take it just to piss the government off. And
that's right.
And it's like, fuck you. Even my dying breath, I go, just take the jab and go. and just no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it, because my fundamental principle is that freedom of choice is the foundation of our entire democracy. And if we don't have that, then everything else is a sham. So I'm defending that principle. So it's still alive while it's in me, and then all these other people we meet, it's still alive in them. That's what they're fighting on. So that's what we're fighting for.
Well, it's a really important perspective you just raised, about the difference between an apartheid and an ostracization. We really haven't had that discussion. We've sort of just generalized the term and said that that's what it is. But really, in essence, you're right. There is no.
It's worse than apartheid.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. But
you have no means to
I
make
saw
a
your
living.
Video. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw your video last night about when you pulled up, and it seemed you'd amassed quite a convoy in 10 or so hours.
So we left
by the
10.
time you pulled up.
We arrived with 100 by the time we left Wodonga, we had somewhere between 170 and 200 vehicles, because locals were turning up and people were just constantly joining from everywhere. So it was just constantly growing. It was really exciting.
And what was your feelings when you were seeing it growing? Because I can't imagine being part of something that big. Maybe explain it to people historic. That weren't able to be a part of it.
Well, every day, every moment of our lives is a moment in history, but some of them are more historical than others. And you feel like going, this is real history. This is the stuff that has the possibility to be remembered and studied and betrayed for years as the governments try to put it down and the mainstream media try to ignore it. But the other people, a lot of the people, it becomes a folk story. This is the convoy, because it wasn't just us. We were going up from Victoria, people come from New South Wales, people down from Queensland, people across from WA, people up from South Australia. We've all amassed, and it's going to be happening all week apparently. So it's been raining now, which is why I got a hotel room, because I actually I stayed in Swag last night, and so I'll probably do a Swag again tomorrow. But it's basically, and the thing is, here in Canberra, there's no mandates, but you can't stay anywhere. I got one hotel that very kindly put us up, and a lot of people, we asked for some GoFundMe money, and we're using that money to put a lot of the other people up. Had nowhere to stay, so because it's raining, so we got people actually in accommodation tonight. That's what the money's been used for.
Oh wow!
So we're using it now, but we'll get it back when we pay it back. So that was good to do them, because they slept rough last night. They've been in a car. Because you're driving slow, it takes a long time. And then today we arrive in Canberra for this get together. There's Hoodie, who in person in his pilot suit, and he's tall because everyone's fucking tall.
Everyone's tall, yeah.
Everyone's
just before we get on to what it was like when you reached Canberra, you touched on I just completely lost my train of thought. You touched on oh crap, I completely lost my train of thought. My apologies.
Speaking of train, this was funny. This lady came up and said, I can't stay. She was an older lady. She said, I can't stay. I want to stay, but I want to give you a gift. And she gave me a tiny little joint. And I thought, oh, I'll share that with a few people because it's only tiny. It's not, and man, it was, I don't know what was in this stuff. Maybe it's Wodonga weed. I don't know. But man, so, and then there's just people turning up and then this happened so I'm completely stoned when this happened. This is how history felt. So this moment, I'll just stop the comments for a sec.
And I realized what I wanted to ask you, yeah.
This moment is like the elves turning up in that Lord of the Rings film. And it was when the trucks turned up.
Trucks are here, fucking awesome! The trucks have arrived! Fantastic! How are you going? Oh, that's awesome!
How are you?
I'm happy to see you. Oh, wow!
I could tell you're in a good mood.
How good is this?
So the whole camp was electric, and it was like basically people that could really help us had turned up. So in the morning they led the rally, they led the thing, and then we tried to get. At one point something went wrong with the fuel, and we almost and we were trying to keep up with the convoy. It was like a little runt, can't, because there's hills everywhere. There's little things going, and then but when we entered Canberra, that was pretty amazing too. Sorry, did you have another question?
I did, and I apologize for forgetting it just a moment ago. It was about, I've just been seeing in the Convoy to Canberra Facebook page all day is a lot of misinformation surrounding the GoFundMe account. And a lot of misinformation.
Is that the major one? Because there's a few. Yeah. There's a one in America.
Yeah, the major one. The major one in Australia. Anyway, it's a massive.
Yeah, we've got nothing to do with that. So I'm
okay.
Sure what happened there. We set up one just for the cafe because we gave ourselves names. So we're the cafe. We were the cafe locked-out convoy, and then there was Harrison was leading the next convoy. We called it the Harrison Horse, but he didn't like that. But we thought it was good. And there was another one after that. And then there was the peacock feathers or something one. So there was groups coming from everywhere. So we've had nothing to do with that. I just asked for my particular little group of the 10 that started out, and they come to a lot of the marches with us, the free huggers. We do a lot together. So the money is more going just for them.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see my computer's going to die. I think I'm in PC mode, so I'm not sure I'm going to survive more than a few more minutes.
Okay, well, let's get into the meat of today then, Michael. You're driving into Canberra with your beautiful convoy of 130 or whatever. What are the scenes as you're entering?
Oh, it was amazing. It was it really, really was. I'll just see if I'm gonna the thing. I would have brought the charger. I'm usually clever enough to do that. And so we got the steps. There was a few fingers from people and stuff like that didn't like us, and then we just got there. Then we had this beautiful group, all the Australian flags flying. I think I've got the image here, which I used on the thing there, and that's when we went up to the stops. And then it's basically met a lot of the major streamers I've seen on things, like Ricardo Bossi. He was there. I never met him. And Joel and all these people, so you're meeting them. And but it's just ordinary people who had nothing to lose. And then we got to first off, we went on the grounds. We were near Parliament House. So it was just having speeches. And then the people left the speeches to go up right up to Parliament House, where there was a line of police saying you can't come in. And there was just this one line. And the people, didn't see this, but the people suddenly said no, and they just surged in to this sheltered area and the police retreated. And there was no violence. I think the number just went through. And then the police set up a line next to the doors, and they were like 3 deep. And then everything just sort of happened there. And there was no violence or anything. But what was really interesting was the police were trying to interrogate us, trying to convince us to go back. But there was a raging storm, and it was pouring with rain. And so basically they were saying, get out of the shelter, even though there's no one there, there's no tourists, no one's using it, and just go stand in the rain and you can protest. And sort of thinking and so a few people went, but others just thought, no, why should we? We're here and we've lost everything. We don't care. What are you going to do? And so we stayed, and they backed off, and then they just sat there like this. And then we got to a certain point where we said, okay, we're all hungry. We all got to find places to sleep, and we'll come back tomorrow. And so we left them, and then that was it. But there was a feeling there of like, what do we do now? Because they were wanting us to leave, but I was actually thinking, these people have nowhere to go. Yeah. That's why they're here.
Where are they leaving to? Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing left for them except for each other. And now as each other, they're here. And the people are funding them to urge them to be there, to be their voice. These people are the voice of a lot of Australians, and a lot of Australians are actively supporting them through sharing, through liking, through comments, through turning up and giving us food. You know, at one service station we turned up, they put on barbecue for us. And, you know, this one, and just a guy and his girlfriend, or a guy and his wife, and he's just cooking for all these hundreds of people with cheap snags and loads of eggs and bacon, and they just want to support and support and support. There's a real groundswell of support for
and doesn't that just fill your heart with all the good stuff?
Yeah.
You know, seeing that support, seeing that couple rock up to a gas station to feed, you know, hundreds of people and support this cause in any way they can. And I think that's the most beautiful part of it, isn't it? Is that everyone is trying to help and make this happen in their own way.
He's going to die any minute, but I totally agree. Yeah. And in fact, I just want to say this before it ends. Everything good about Australia, everything you've always loved about Australia was in that camp that night. And then at the rally the next day, diversity, just everything, courage, larrikins, you know, just cockiness. It's just, there's just this entrepreneurialism because everyone's coming up with ideas. Everything, real caring and empathy, mateship, everything. All the songs you sing about it are with us. They're not with the ones standing there with their masks up going, just get the jab. They're with us. And we're hanging on to it like a beacon in us. And that's what's really beautiful about it.
Well, we've got to hang on to it, don't we? You know, if we don't hang on to it, then we won't have anything left.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe if you had some words to people who might be umming and ahhing about getting down there, especially, you know, hearing so many mixed reports about today, you know, the mainstream media start telling their usual lies and, you know, spinning it their own usual way and everything else.
I think the best way is, the best reason to come down is community. To find out if you're lost, to find out not that we might not have a way to make you feel found, but you'll realize, wow, what we've lost is really beautiful. It's here and it's worth protecting. And we'll fill your tanks. And that's what happens when you're around you. And they're my people. They're my people. And not that I'm the leader. I'm just saying they're my people.
They're our people.
I have to go. They're our people. This is my people. And there's a new race of Australians now.
Talk to, you know, because
this is a new branch of people now, and I'm a part of them. And I love them, and this is my people. And so, what you'll do is you'll be welcomed aboard. A lot of people there today who have said they've never done this before, but they've had enough, and they were there. So look, you'll find your tribe. Thanks, Nicole. This thing will die any moment. I think just maybe we should just log off now, and tomorrow I'll try and be more organized and have a longer thing. And I've got all these images I need to Photoshop and come across, but
Maybe a quick last message. What's on for tomorrow? What does tomorrow look like in Canberra?
Tomorrow, ScoMo is in Canberra and he's doing a press conference, and we intend to be there to try have the press conference here. A lot of upset Australians in the back, and people are very angry. They're very upset. And that's seen as like aggression. It's not aggression. These are people who've had enough.
That's right.
They don't want their kids jabbed. They want to be able to travel. They want their jobs back. They're sick of being scared. They don't want your fear. And a lot of people, this is so frightened. We don't want your fear. And they want personal freedoms. And that's why refugees from around the world have come to Australia forever, to have personal freedoms. You talk to any of the people who escaped totalitarianism, they're all through the march, they'll tell you you have no idea how much you'll miss personal freedoms, because now you're just living in fear, and you're selling a narrative, so you're living in within a lie. You got to be very careful about what you say, because you don't want someone to dob you in or just think that you're an anti-vaxxer. Oh my God, how terrible would that be? And so basically you've lost the ability to go, fuck you, and now anything you thought was Australian, you're not Australians, and to me it's we have to find a way to redefine a new future, like set a destination point on a map and say, that's where we're going. This is what it'll look like, smell like. And once we can see and describe that destination and see it and feel it, I think the steps for us to reach there will appear. And then we'll be on our way, and you won't be able to stop us, because the world doesn't want what the corporations are offering them with masks and
well, I think that's what we're missing more than anything right now, is that true direction, is a future, to look forward to. And what future are we going to build? It's a never ending present that they've trapped us in right now. We can't even think or fathom about a better future, because we're so stuck into in the present, and I think that's what we need to find now more than ever, is our future.
Yeah,
what does the future look like?
Yeah, and visual, and talk about it. And we've got to talk about it not as footy fans. We've got to talk about it as philosophers, And I did, Hank, lock me off. I'm gone.
See you, Michael. All right, guys. I think Michael has indeed died on us. I just got called in 15 minutes before he went on to ask him some questions. So thank you so much for being here. It's been absolutely fantastic. And if you have any doubts about getting down to Canberra, then there's no need to do so, because you can do this. And I'll be there in a couple of days as soon as I recover from a sniffle. So it'll be great to see everyone down there as well. Thanks a lot.